Have you been feeling hopeless and stuck when it comes to achieving your dreams and goals? Well, then this episode is for you. Do you feel down, a bit unmotivated, frustrated, like you're spinning your wheels? Well, this episode's for you. I'll be sharing 2 lies that you could be believing that are going to keep you feeling stuck and hopeless, and then what we can do to dismantle them so we feel inspired, encouraged, and we get back to taking action. It often happens when you're having a bad day or week. It's easy to think about all the things that aren't working out. Our brains seem to have a focus to think about the negative things. So they're a bit biased. They want to think about the negative things and blow those up. So you may have even made great progress on your goal, but there's something bad's happened or it's not gone quite how you want. And your brain now is just focusing on what's gone wrong and forgetting all the other things you did and all the progress before it. When you're feeling like this, it's possible that there's 2 thoughts, or I call them lies, that are coming to mind. One is the thought or the belief that nothing ever changes, I will never make changes, I'll never reach my goals, everything's the same, life is the same, nothing's changing. And then the second is very similar, but it's just a tiny tweak, and that's I can never change. I'll never think differently or act differently or believe differently. Now, both of these are not true, and all it's going to take is a bit of a shift in our focus, a shift in our perspective to see that. I'm going to show you how to dismantle these lies so you feel encouraged by your progress and inspired to keep going. Now, so that first question of nothing of nothing ever changes, my life is exactly the same. Well, confession, I was thinking that or feeling that really recently, and that's what's inspired this episode. So I will share out what I'm experiencing, what I learn, how I do things, how I navigate these things, because these are going to happen. These thoughts are going to come up. So that is what I was saying to myself when I was in my pit of despair. Like, nothing's changed. My life is the same. Nothing's ever changing. Now, I've done enough self-development work, reflective work to know that this isn't true. And I realized it for what it is, which is a lie. And what I did is I just took some time to think about what my life was when I first started taking goal setting seriously. This was after going through postnatal depression. I was really struggling in life and I wasn't really happy. But what I did after that was I sort of thought about what do I want, what's not working for me. I uncovered my values, what was important to me, and I created a vision for my life based on those things. So it starts the dream. That's why I called my business this, because it really was such a key moment, creating that vision, starting with that dream. And then basically it created this new life that I have experienced these last 7-8 years. So when I consider where I was back then versus where I am now, I had so much evidence to show me that my life is completely different. Even when I compare me a year ago to me today, I could see loads of ways that I had changed to make progress towards my goals, and in creating and carrying out my daily routines that nourish me, and they see me taking action on the things that matter to me. So this is my exercise for you. You can grab my printable, the link is in the bio, or you can just write it down on a piece of paper, and it is to fill this out. How has my life changed in the past, blank, and then you put in a time frame. So I'd say 6 months at least, because that gives you good enough time to have, make some big changes, because changes take time. Or I would say a couple of years. It really depends what what kind of things you've been working on, what kind of changes you've been making. Sometimes you might even just look back a month and see huge change. But I'd say 6 months minimum. I think a year is a good amount of time, a couple of years. Now, I want you to list out all the ways your life has changed. List all the things you've experienced. Note any major events that have occurred. And consider those small things too. Those little things and you think, oh, that's not a big deal. Add them all in. And as you start to list these things out, you're going to be reminded of all the ways your life has changed. And I believe you're going to be inspired to know that it can change and it's going to keep changing. And you're going to keep moving towards your goals. Now, like the second question or second list that we're going to look at, it's very similar, but it's that nuance of it focuses on you as a person. So it's that idea of I can't change, I never change, my thoughts don't change, my actions change. And it's likely that's probably come up because maybe you have an area of growth where you feel like you still have to put a lot of effort into that thing. And you can just find yourself focusing on, oh, I still struggle with this. I'm not going to feel differently about this. And what I want you to do is to list all the ways you've grown and changed as a person. So I'll just give an example. Feeling positive my body, I have come such a long way. I remember I'd be with the girlfriends and one of them would be like, oh, I hate my arms, they're so flabby. Someone else would be like, oh, I hate my thighs. And then I'd join in, I hate this, I hate that, and I hate this. And I met up with some of the girls kind of recent-ish, and one of them sort of said something, one of them did say something, and I just felt like myself silent. Like, I was like, I'm not joining in. I don't want to join in. Nothing came to mind like, oh, I hate this and I hate that. And then I actually sort of stopped and I said, hey, like, number one, that area, like whatever it is she thought was not great, I was like, it's amazing, you look amazing. But how about you think about the stuff you do like? And when you're thinking something negative about your body, is like you question that and you just stop and, just zip it. Don't carry on that thought process. And then I realized, wow, I would have just joined in. I had like a reel of things that I didn't like. And that's not to say like I'm loving every part of my body. I still have like my tummy's always been poofy. That's just genetics and also like hormones and inflammation. Got like a type of arthritis, so the inflammation, those things don't help. It's likely that it will never be flat. Even when I was a skinny kid, I remember I still had a poofy tummy. So that's something where it's like it's probably not going to change, and I'm trying to sort of accept and just enjoy what I have and what my body's done for me. But when I'm on a bad day, time of the month, a bit bloated, I can be really negative, and then I can think to myself like, oh, I'll never feel comfortable with my tummy. I'll never feel happy to wear something that's like maybe accentuates that part of the body. And then that's not actually true. And that experience of being with like the girlfriends and then someone sort of saying things about their body and me like actually not having that thing of automatically wanting to join in, that showed me, wow, I have made huge progress in coming to a place of accepting and loving my body. So there you go. Like, that's what I mean. Like, you have a weaker area, but on a bad day, it's like you think, oh, I'll never change how I feel. And then you forget, actually, I have been changing and how I feel is different to how it was a year ago, 3 years ago, 7 years ago. So I want you to list out all the ways you have grown and changed as a person. Now, you might want to frame it like this, because this might help you, is you write, I used to do A, and that's the thing you want to stop or change in this situation, whatever the situation was. So I used to eat ice cream every time I was stressed, but now I do B, and B is the positive change desire. Or even you might be at the point of going, I used to do A, but sometimes I do A, but I have also started to do B. And now you list out, or C, you start listing out the positive things you have started to implement. So it's celebrating the progress you've made, and while you still do some of those things, you're now focusing on, I also have started doing these other things. So it could be like, I used to get the ice cream every time I was stressed, but now sometimes I do that, but I have also started to go for a walk instead, pick a healthier snack instead, meditate, do some deep breathing. So it's really acknowledging and celebrating the fact that you have made progress, you are starting to make changes, like you as a person have started to create change in the direction of where you want to go. So you can either just list out all the ways you think you've grown as a person, or you can frame it in that I used to do A, but in this situation, but now I do B, or I do A and I also do B, C, D, etc. So do that exercise and let me know how it goes. And it's just a reminder, you don't want to have like that all or nothing mindset, which I have had in the past, where it's like, if I'm not doing it perfectly, then hey, what's the point? It's a waste. Like, if I'm not doing all these things in the perfect way that I would like, then I'm not gonna disregard the things I have done. It's not a helpful mindset. It doesn't move you forward. It just leaves you feeling like you're failing all the time, frustrated, and likely that you'll just quit. So letting go of that all or nothing mindset has been really, really key to helping me have like growth, whether it's a small growth in some areas, bigger growth in some areas, but it's moving forward, and it's those consistent small little changes, and it adds up over time. That's a transformed life. Like I said, it always felt like nothing was happening. Then now I look back and it's like, here's 7 years and look what has happened. Life, it's like night and day from where I was. So if you've done that exercise, maybe you've paused it and you've done it. How did you feel after filling in those lists? Hopeful? Are you feeling grateful, appreciative? Acknowledge and celebrate your growth. So I hope it's like made you come away and feel like lightened, like, oh my, look at how much I've done, look how much I've changed, look at the growth. And yes, I might not be exactly what I want to be, but I'm not where I was. So I'm going to focus and celebrate on that. If this has been helpful to you, then like, share and subscribe. And if you go see that printable on my blog and the links in the bio, you see that I've got some other questions for you to fill out as well that's going to help you reframe your mindset and look positively towards your future. And if you want more content like this, then I have got a course called Design Your Dreams, which is going to become a coaching program where we have live calls. And it does include mindset work as well as guiding you to create a vision for your life and turning those dreams into actionable plans. Because, hey, we don't want to just be dreaming and daydreaming and imagining and hoping and wishing. We want to actually turn that into plans we can action, writing it down, knowing what our steps are going to be. So you can head over to learn more about that course at itstartswithadream.com/design/your/dreams. And again, the link is in the bio. Thank you for tuning in, and like I said, like, subscribe and share for more.